Hello and welcome to Cruise 5. Today we're talking to a gentleman called Dr. Akanimo Odon. He is an international business and strategy development expert, but he's also an author. He is originally from Nigeria, but now based in Lancaster, United Kingdom. And he also holds a British passport.
Well, I do.
Welcome to Cruise 5.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Nice for having me, my friend.
And although you might be leaving Malawi soon, but let me welcome you to Malawi.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how long you've been in Malawi so far.
So we've been in Malawi for five days.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And so far?
It's been fantastic, actually.
Is this your first time to come to Malawi?
No, it's not. It's probably my fourth time coming to Malawi.
Great.
Yeah. So I've been to Malawi a few times because I'm currently on an international project on circular water economy in Africa. And the National Center for Science and Technology in Malawi, Lilongwe, is actually a partner on that project. So I've come for a few workshops and seminars in Malawi.
This particular time?
This trip is a bit different, yeah.
What are you doing in Malawi?
So I'm actually here to promote my book, you see. So it's actually the Graduate Code, and it's an interesting book. Now the premise of the book is in every professional, there is a student wanting to learn.
Yes.
And in every student, there is a professional waiting to earn.
Ah.
Oh, you see where I'm going with this,
Can you come again with that?
So in every professional,
yes,
there is a student wanting to
learn.
And in every student,
there's a professional
waiting to earn.
And I guess that's what's going to be our main talk in this show today. But let's know the man that we're talking to before we get too deep into that. And I understand you're originally from Nigeria,
that's
so I presume that's where you were born and raised?
That's correct. So I was born in Lagos, I lived all my life in Nigeria.
Okay.
Then I moved into the UK 2002 to do my master's degree at University of Wales in Aberystwyth in environmental rehabilitation.
Okay.
Then as I was finishing my master's, I got another offer to do my doctorate degree in environmental management at Lancaster University.
Okay.
Lancaster is a nice, small, lovely town.
Yeah.
But once you go there, you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
So I've lived there.
It's cool and quiet,
I've just
I guess.
been there for a long time. So after my master's degree, I set up a small consulting firm, which I've run since then. And so it's kind of navigating here and there. So in my job, I travel an awful lot. You could call me a navigator.
He is a navigator, but not those navigators that came and told us where our lake is and where our mountain is. I discovered Lake Malawi.
I know. So I'm a navigator and connector.
A navigator and connector. Growing up in Nigeria, what was life like? Tell me what your parents were doing.
So my dad was a civil servant. He worked at the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, like a government agency, where they do food research. And he was a lab technician.
Okay.
And he did an incredible job raising 5 kids. So I've got 4 siblings.
All right. And you being the...
I'm second born.
Second
boy.
Okay.
I've got 3 younger sisters, all married with kids in Lagos, Nigeria. My older brother lives in Australia with his family. Incredible. So yeah, so growing up in Nigeria was good because I mean it was where you developed a passion for hustle.
Yes.
The people who tell Nigerians they're really good hustlers.
Oh, I've never understood this. You see, I mean, allow me to digress.
Yes, please do.
But I always say, what do these people in Nigeria eat? Or how do you raise your young? Because you people, I must give it to you, you are very aggressive.
Thank you very much.
And everybody's like, oh no, you know, Africans. I'm like, you can say everything about Africans, but you can't say the same thing about Nigerians. Because everywhere they go, they kind of stand out.
Yeah, they do.
The churches that they start, the business that they start, the crime that they do, everywhere they stand out. I'm like, how do they make them like this?
Yeah, it's a pity about the negative dimensions, but I think that's just like, you know, in some sense, a very little component of the population. I mean, it's a big country. It's over 200 million people.
Yes.
And so when you are competing for the same, I don't know, government contracts, the same food, the same resources, with 100 other people.
You think it's because of the sheer size of the country?
I mean, that's one of it. I think ultimately there's some historical background with respect to enterprise and our forefathers who, in some sense, throughout, I mean, during independence years, when we were fighting for independence, stronghold. I mean, it's the same in different other countries. Yes. But I believe our sheer size, in some sense, has contributed in some sense. I mean, if you look at Kenya, Kenya is a hustling country. Yes, everyone knows that, but it's also a big country. Yeah. Especially in the East African domain. Exactly. So there must be some kind of historical backdrop to why countries get enterprising in nature. And for me, I can't remove the fact that our sheer size just makes that potentially possible. And ultimately, because of our sheer size, it means we are literally very mobile and we are everywhere.
Going back to the little Akanimo growing up, What did you want to become? Did you want to become what you are now? Or you had a totally different view of
It's
what
a
you
very
want to become?
strange one. So
Yes.
in Nigeria, like it is in many other African countries, there is
Yeah.
a big push from parents for your children to go and do professional programs.
Exactly.
Medicine and accounting and law.
So
You
you
know
want
what I
to be a
mean?
doctor and all these
Yeah,
things.
so my dad actually wanted me to do medicine. And I remember, it's a true story. I remember in Nigeria, to enter into a university, you have to do like, it's traditional entry examination called JAM. So it's a Joint Admission Matriculation Board.
Yes.
And in JAM, it's like a multiple choice kind of examination.
Yeah.
Even though I had like 9 A's in my GCSEs,
Yes.
to go and take JAM, I had 204 in my JAM score, but you needed to score 250 and above to get into medicine.
Wow.
And when you don't get into medicine and in Nigeria or those high professional courses, you are almost relegated to go and take other kinds of courses you never intended to. The kind of courses you might want to call like leprosy courses.
Yes.
Courses people just, like zoology,
Yeah.
botany,
Yeah.
lab technician, and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So I was given zoology as a course, study of animals.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and I remember I was thinking in the first year after my first year in zoology, I'll take JAMB again.
Yes.
And this time around, I'm good to go.
I want to do medicine.
My goodness,
Yes.
I'm going to blast
I'm
JAMB.
fired up.
As it so happens, I took JAMB again, and this time I scored 206. So it was just 1 point above what I scored.
Jesus Christ. You're like, I'm going to spend my entire life writing jam.
I know. So, but I think I kind of resorted to the fact that now I'm going to do zoology.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I'm going to do zoology, I remember telling myself one day, and as it happened in that department, they hadn't been in first class for over 7 years.
Aha.
So I'm like, if I'm going to do zoology,
I'm going to be
I'm
very good at it.
I'm going to blast it.
I'm going to be good at it.
Yeah, I made a first class in zoology.
Wow.
Department of Zoology, University of Benin in Nigeria.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of new things. Because no matter, and I tell students this, you might not like a course,
Yes.
but don't mess it up. You know, there's something about hard work, irrespective, especially when you are already in that space. If you've got the opportunity to make a change, well, do. But if you can't make a change, try and do your best. There's nothing as hard work. For me, it's either you work hard or you work hard. You don't have an option, you know. So, but to be fair, in my head, I'm thinking, well, my dad liked the idea of calling his son Dr. Akanimo.
Yes.
So then that was my vision of getting a PhD.
Yes, I must still get that title.
Get to the point or at the height of my career, irrespective. So that's it, yeah.
I kind of love that. I think it's a case of when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
Absolutely.
Life gave you zoology and you're like, I'm going to ace this one. I'll
Oh,
just
yeah,
be the best zoologist that ever
yeah,
walked
bro.
this university.
But actually, I moved. That's the point.
Exactly. Soon after that, you're
So-
like, okay,
so even though it was-
this is done and dusted.
So-
I've shown you that I can do this.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to go and do what I want to do.
But the key point is, even though I was doing zoology, in the second year of my zoology, there was a module I was called environmental management. Okay?
Yes.
Now, and this happens in most modules, in most courses across the continent. Now, you might have a course in chemistry, but there would be a particular module that is in a different subject matter, aligned with the core course.
Okay.
That's where I caught my interest. That even though I'm doing zoology as a course, but wait a minute, what is this environmental management about?
Yeah.
And for me, what drew my attraction was there was this professor, Professor Lawrence Zemoye. He was in the Department of Zoology, even though he was regarded as the let-go department when nobody was interested.
Yes.
I remember he came to the department with nice cars. I'm not kidding, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Nice, sharp suits. I'm thinking,
How is it?
yeah,
How do you reconcile this?
if this guy is a lecturer in this department
And can get
and
this
it
good
can't be that bad. So I knew, in my young, naive mind, I knew I had to catch his attention.
Yes.
So what did I do? And I told students, the best way to catch your lecturer's attention is blast his course.
Yes.
Be the best at it.
He'll turn. He'll say,
No chance. Don't mess
Who is
around.
this- who is this
So
student?
I was the best in his course.
and you caught his
Attention. So I remember he would come to his office and we would just have a chat, do me one or two things. I started asking him, I was like, but Prof, I don't understand. You are a lecturer in zoology. Why are you so flashy? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can tell you are successful.
Where do you get this?
And then he told me, actually, he's a consultant to Shell as an oil and gas company, to Mobil. So now I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's the
Zoology?
connection? Then he
Zoology?
tells me, no. He consults on environmental impact assessments of the effect of oil spills on
Yes.
soil organisms. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So what am I saying this? Irrespective of any course you do, and I read it in the book, It's not the cause, but the force of the cause. Because it's always a plus. Come on now. That's true. There is always a pathway in one way or the other that you can align to within a course portfolio that suits your capacity, your skills, and your natural inclinations, enough for you to grow a career space in that region. But the point is, most people just, gallivant around university without no structure. But for me, it was an interest. And that's how I caught my passion on environmental management. So if you notice, my master's degree was in environmental rehabilitation, and my PhD was in environmental management. Now, I'm a really good sustainability and environmental professional.
Welcome back to Cruise 5. Today we're talking to Dr. Akanimo Odon in Malawi for just a couple of days, but he says he does come here often, so there's a chance you might run into him again later on. But he is many things. I even struggle to pin you to one thing that you do.
Interesting.
There's a whole range of things. You are an author. You are a poet.
That's true.
And you are a trainer. You are so many things, man. Just excite me with the things that you are able to do.
Even though I do many things,
Yes.
I mean, what people don't realize, there's an underlying thread in everything I do.
What's that?
The thread is creativity and capacity building.
Creativity and capacity building.
It's a double C's.
Yes. So you create capacity.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what you're also here to do in Malawi. And you've not been talking to very ordinary people, as it turns out.
Oh, it depends on what you mean by ordinary.
Consider me an ordinary person.
No, you are far from ordinary, my friend. Come on now.
So you've been talking to vice chancellors of universities.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Telling them what?
So I think let me paint you a picture.
Yes.
So as I travel around, because my job I travel, and I do connections, so I can arrange partnerships between UK universities and African universities. And I consult for different UK universities around their Africa strategy. See, but as I travel around Africa, and you kind of discover there is obviously a big crisis in the educational sector.
Is it?
Absolutely, my friend. I mean, I'll give an example. So if you look at the world patents map, okay, world patents, Africa is almost negligible in terms of our patent structure. Now, patents is driven by innovations, and innovations is driven by research. Now, Africa does a lot of research, especially when you look at the number of universities Africa's got.
Yes.
And interestingly, those universities are driven by research and publications. It's the basis of promotion. So it means we are doing research. But how come there is no conversion of research to innovation, and innovations to impact, and the provision of solution? The reason is because our research is quite theoretical in nature. Now, if you ask the average researcher in Africa and say, well, why is your research so theoretical? You're publishing papers, but are you actually providing solutions to problems? But they will tell you, well, there is no money. When they have to depend on the government for everything.
Yes.
Now, but the trouble is this. Is the issue the availability of funding or the accessibility of funding? And I beg to agree is actually the latter, believe it or not.
The funding is there.
Bro,
the issue is how
there is money. There is money. I can assure you there is money. And maybe a simple way to paint the picture is this. Some 7 years ago when I traveled to Africa, like for different things I do, I always noticed that the number of like non-Africans in flights are usually a lot less. Bro, in the last 2-3 years, it has changed totally. I remember taking a flight from Amsterdam to Nairobi, and over 80% of the passengers were white. And when you ask these folks, why you keep coming to Africa, they will tell you, it's where the money is.
Africa?
Africa? Are you kidding me?
We're running away from Africa. We're willing to kill ourselves to walk through a forest
You see, to
get
go-
eaten by lions.
My point exactly. Now, while they are coming into the continent, Africans are trying to run away from the continent. There has to be a problem somewhere, don't you think? There is a disconnect of information somewhere.
This has been a big issue in Malawi, the issue of universities struggling to survive
Funds.
because they always complain of funding. And you say, where? And I mean, obviously, where do we get the money from? Where is the money? How can we innovate? how can we run our universities? So most of them are actually relying on tuition.
Absolutely.
And
Like
that's driving, the fees must
oh,
go.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Especially private ones. And now, for the public ones, they are even a lot more hopeless.
Yes.
Because they can't even increase the tuition fees. It's
Yes.
supposed to be subsidized by government.
Exactly.
And so they now depend fully on government for their funding.
And
So it means if the government wakes up in the morning and the government has got no cash in the pocket, that means that is
You're doomed.
is done. It's doomed, literally.
Yeah.
Now, my campaign is this. A vice chancellor, and I train vice chancellors in my job. A vice chancellor is not just the head of a center of learning. You are also the chief executive of a knowledge enterprise. Now, when you see yourself as a chief executive, okay, and you understand what your product is, your clientele or your customers are, things are a bit different. Education is nice and in many circles is regarded as a service. But we are coming to the point where the average vice chancellors will understand that even though education is a service, it can also be an innovative product. What do I mean? I mean, therefore, if you see education as an innovative product, it means you can innovate on education and you're driven by your target market. Look at Coca-Cola. There is Coke.
Yeah.
They discovered that some people don't like too much sugar.
Yeah.
Then they created what? Coke,
Coke
Diet
Zero.
Coke.
Yeah, Diet Coke.
Then some people don't like sugar at all.
Yeah.
They created what? Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
Some people like Coke, but they also love strawberry flavor. What did they create? Coke with strawberry flavor. What is Coca-Cola as a company doing? They are innovating their product design and offer based on market demands. Now look at the university. The general course universities offer is what? First degrees, master's degrees, PhD.
Yeah.
It's like just Coke. They've been doing that for donkey years.
Yes, so many years.
Meanwhile, there are some professionals outside who have money to pay for a shorter course. Have you discovered that the people who have money don't have time?
They don't.
And the ones who have time are always broke.
Yes, that's true.
So
Well, it
my
looks
point
like
is-
you're talking about me now.
are you broke by any chance?
I have a lot of time. That means I'm broke.
So, but my point is though is that it means that if you understand your market and who your customer is, you are
Yes.
able to innovate and offer different things for your market needs.
Yes.
And in offering those things, if you're filling a gap, that means you are creating value. And it's in the creation of value you get money.
That's true.
That's one fundamental basis.
Yes.
So that means, could you design short courses for a professional audience?
Yeah.
Can you design distance learning programs for audiences that are far outside the geographical reach of your university?
Yeah.
These are project designs in education offerings that
Yes.
most universities don't currently do. And let me just flip it aside. You know that if you look at a university, besides government, who is the biggest potential funders of universities? You know what they are? Industry. As a matter of fact, universities say we have knowledge. Industries have money. Government have power.
Ah.
How can you be potentially in alliance with folks who can give you money, industry, but you never actually communicate mutual benefit with them? How many universities have you seen have got good partnerships with industry folks? Very, very few.
Very
so
few.
how can you be saying you are broke? Meanwhile, you're not speaking to somebody who can give you money. Does that even make sense?
It doesn't make sense. In fact, the only time that a university around here gets to talk to the industry is when their students are organizing symposium.
Can you imagine?
And it's just student to industry
Absolutely.
connections.
Industries will tell you, and I speak with many chief executives across the continent, they will tell you that they dislike university folks. And I say, why? So the only time they come to me is when they're looking for money, which is not a bad idea, but the point is this. Can they offer something else?
Yes.
So I'll give you an example. So if you look at most universities, and I've checked this, they normally have like a commercial sector of a bank on campus. Most universities, the big ones, have banks on campus. So I started doing a small experiment. You know what I started doing? So when I go to a CA university and I'm training the VCs, I'll ask the VC, sir, so this bank has been on your campus for like 5 years?
Yes.
He said, yes. I said, okay. I said, who wrote to who? So was it the bank who wrote a proposal to the university to set up a branch on campus? Or was it university who invited the branch, the bank? And they always tell me the same thing. It's always the bank
That
who wrote
made
the
initiative.
initiative. And that makes sense because banks will go where the money is. Now, I ask the final question, which is the most important question, and I say, so VC, that bank has been on your campus for, I don't know,
5 years or more.
Has there been any time when you've called the bank manager for a chat to say, okay, you've been making money off my campus on like transactions, so can we have 20 scholarships, all expense paid, for my 20 best students for their master's degree program. And they're looking at me like I'm speaking French.
Yes.
I said, but why are you not asking? Because the bank is just around the corner.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't ask, you don't get.
You don't ask, you don't get.
So I remember I was in the VC's office one day, and as I was telling him this, he says, Doc, hold on a minute. He presses his intercom, calls his PA, go and call me the bank manager now. Can you imagine?
He had to wait for you.
He said,
he had to wait for you.
Was tell him. The dude was disrupted.
Yeah.
He was like, that's true actually. He's been making too much money and I haven't benefited anything.
It could work.
Now, about I think a month or 2 months after, he rings me up and he goes, hey Doc, that thing worked. I said, what do you mean, Prof? He says that we requested for I think 15 scholarships from the bank.
Yeah.
And within 1 week, it was approved. So now he's angry. He wish he had asked for more.
Exactly. It's like, where were you all this time? It's a case of Jesus. Where were you?
These disruptions, my
Lazarus
bro.
would never have died if you were here.
These disruptions, because you cannot be thinking the same way you thought yesterday and acted yesterday when there was no change and expect change.
Exactly.
There has to be a change.
That's madness.
It's absolute madness.
That's madness. Welcome back to Cruise 5. Today, we're talking to a man who is the author of this book, Dr. Akanimo Odon. And this book is called The Graduate Code. In every professional is a student wanting to learn. And in every student is a professional waiting to earn. And I know that we're talking to different people, and maybe some of you have just finished uni and you're still struggling what to do, and some of you have been out in the field for quite a while now and you're still trying to figure out how best to do what you can do. Well, maybe in you there is a student, in you there is a professional who is waiting to earn. But how? How do you start earning? That's a big thing. And you did touch on this, that
Yes.
most of the people are stuck with courses they never wanted to study.
That's true.
Maybe because they were pushed to do those courses by their parents
That's
or
true.
friends, and now they have wasted these 4 years and they don't know
Yes.
what to do,
That's
and they're
right.
like, should I go back? And there are many people doing career changes.
That's true.
You know, I wasted my time in university. I have to do something that's going to bring me money. And maybe that's not what somebody needs to do. Tell us, what is the graduate code?
Okay, beautiful. So the graduate code it's on the back of a lot of engagement I've engaged in the last 10 years.
Yes.
I've engaged in excess of 100,000 students
Yes.
across the continent. I'm currently co-founder of an NGO in the UK called XN Foundation.
XN Foundation.
That's correct. And
yes.
for the last 10, 11 years, we've held the International Conference of Nigerian Students, which has also moved to the International Student Conference for Africa.
Okay.
It's a singular conference, 2 days, where different students from all over the country come together. So my point is, for the last 10 years, I've engaged students. But also on the flip side, I've also engaged professionals. And I have a fascination because of my story, of the connection between how I did zoology, wanted to do medicine. I ended up doing environmental management. Right now, even though I'm still a sustainability professional, most of my core work has got nothing to do with my PhD. Can you imagine?
Really?
I'm serious. That's true. So I have a fascination for how people tread their career pathways from what they study to what they do. That fascination grew into questioning, asking questions everywhere I go. So I'll tell you what for me was the light bulb moment why I knew I had to write this book. So I'm in Nigeria, University of Benin, my alma mater, delivering a lecture to over 200 students. Now, they were all final year students. So I asked them, how many of you are doing a course you don't like? Half of their hands went up. Bro, final year students.
Half of them?
Half of them are doing a course
They
they
have
don't like.
invested 3 to 4 years.
Doing what they don't like.
Nah.
So I'm saying, okay, well, let's ask the second question. So I said, actually, I cover these questions in the book to show you the premise why this book had to be written. So I said, okay, well, how many of you are doing a course you don't like, but since you're in your final year anyway, you've come to live with it because you don't have a choice? Then a third of their hands went up. Then I asked the real question. So how many of you have a sense? I didn't ask clarity. I mean like a sense of what you might want to do when you graduate. Now, this is where I nearly fell off my chair. When only 5 hands from a room of 200 students, only 5 hands went up.
195 people
have no
were
sense.
in the 4th year.
And they were about to be unleashed into the job market. My brother, isn't that a crisis?
That's tragedy.
And for me, this actually is not a Nigerian issue. It's a continental crisis.
And that is very true.
As a matter of fact, you know, Africa currently has one of the largest working population of young people in the world. And we are going to be hitting in excess of, say, 1.5 billion in like 10 years' time. We are currently over 1 billion. My goodness, bro. Imagine the number of youthful population that are disenfranchised, isolated, confused, and depressed. Isn't that a crisis?
It is a crisis.
So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. How do I resolve this? In some sense, I have a sense of what I should do. Internationally, youth unemployability or youth employment and enterprise development is mostly driven by policy. A government sees what the youth population is like and design policies and frameworks to put it in place.
Yes.
Now, but that in Africa would take a long time.
Yes.
We have the African Union, different continental bodies. They're doing one thing or the other. But nothing seems to be happening. And even if it's happening, it's in different circles, not connected. So I'm thinking, well, I'm too small and too young to go and attack government to make things happen. So what I thought I could do was, okay, what can the average individual, whether you're a student, a graduate, or professional, what can you do on your own that doesn't require somebody approving it? Are you following me?
I'm following you.
That doesn't require a government policy. That
it's you.
It's you that's within your control.
You. This is what I can do.
At least make your life better.
Whatever is happening out there, let it happen.
But for me, I can fashion my career.
I'm going to do this.
It's almost like grabbing your career bulls by the horn. And for me, that's the reason why I said, okay, well, let me write a simple, practical book that makes it easy for people to just, and my brother, it has been transformational. So I'll give
this book.
I'm not kidding you. So literally, I'm getting requests from vice chancellors to make it compulsory for all their students when they read the book. And I remember I was in a session, and I was delivering a session to professors. You know, I train lecturers on funding on my other job anyway.
Yes. Okay.
But as I'm speaking to them, I delved into talking about the book. Now, the book was piled up waiting for the student session to come after they've left the room. But as I was talking to them, to my dismay, I was absolutely surprised. They were all getting up to go and pick up a copy.
This book is for students.
In my head, I'm thinking it was designed for students and graduates and young professionals. But when a professor who has been professor for 30 years goes and pick up a copy, then there is something wrong.
Yes.
So I started asking them, well, why are you picking up copies for the book? And they were telling me, Doc, you know, as you were talking, they realized that actually, I might be a professor of chemistry, but I have no idea about career pathways in chemistry. The only thing I know is to be a professor.
Yes.
So even lecturers are confused about how to even support students about their career choices and their capacity for enterprise or employability. And what makes it even sad is this. The average university would have a careers department, which is understandable, and they do.
Yeah.
But when I checked out, and I've done many surveys, do you realize that less than 5 students actually visit their careers department over the 3 or 4 year duration of the given university?
Less than 5.
I'm telling you, in many universities I've gone to, and trust me, I have engaged with many students.
And now, this is career we're talking about.
So basically my point is
your life.
Even when there's a unit that is designed for you to engage to make your careers available or make it at least a bit more better,
you don't even want
to go there. Now the lecturers who are in constant touch with the students in lecturing them all the time don't have expertise or knowledge on career. It means we are in a quagmire.
Yes.
We are in a space of crisis.
We're stuck.
So now, my point is this. It's a very simple practical thing. So maybe I'll give an example.
Yes.
So, work experience.
Yes.
So if you ask the average employer, they'll tell you part of the issues they face when a student sends their CV through is they don't work experience.
Yes.
I find it difficult to understand, and I'll explain why. So, by nature and design of a university, you attract SMEs, small and medium-sized companies.
Yes.
So, even in Malawi, everywhere I go now, I try it. I count nothing less than 100 SMEs within and around most universities. These are small shop owners, pharmacy shops, you follow me? Like mechanic shops, a range of maybe small companies that are providing one service or the other to student population, because they've got a good population in a conglomeration they can provide a service or a product to. That's by design. That's how the universities operate.
Yes.
Then, so I said, let me try an experiment. So I rang up a few vice chancellors, friend of mine, and said, okay, well, could you give me like a few students to try something else in different countries? So what did I do? I called the student and said, can you do me a favor, yeah? Write a small cover letter of who you are. Ask your lecturer to do a little reference letter of who you are. Then ask maybe your parent or guardian to do a letter. So have 3 letters. Walk into any of those SMEs around the university and make this pitch.
Yeah.
Your pitch is this. Sir, I'm a student at this university, and this is 3 letters to show you who I am, that I'm a good student and so on. Can I work for you for 2 hours a week, and it's okay not to pay me? Do you know within 1 week, all of them got jobs?
Within 1 week.
Now, what is 2 hours a week, bro? 2 hours a week is 2 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
2 hours a week is a simple match between Manchester and Arsenal.
You sitting down and
so basically 2 hours a week is nothing.
It's nothing.
But you can spend 2 hours a week doing some voluntary activity
Getting
for
experience.
a small company and getting a little experience. And look at the beauty, what even makes it beautiful. There is no CV where you have to write how many hours you worked.
No. What they want is experience.
Very good. They want to know you work from January to December.
Yeah.
There is no VC, no CV either, where you have to state how much you were paid.
No.
No. So basically, you can actually get specific experiences just by volunteering. But how many African students think of volunteering as a basis for increasing their work experience and getting themselves prepared for work?
Not for anything at all, actually. Not for anything at all.
They want money, but you waste that much time.
Yes.
This is the proper explanation when someone tells you that time is money.
Yeah.
It's what it is. What are you doing with your time? That's an example of something practical the average student can do. I'll give you another example. So that, by design, universities have lots of events.
Yes.
There's either a fellowship event, there's a seminar happening somewhere.
A fair
so basically, there's always a range of flyers and posters in universities. Is by design. Now, so I said that, listen, in my book I cover this. I said, the next time you walk past a poster as a student, stop by. Look below it, there's always a number. Call the number up, and you make this little pitch. I'm a student on this campus. I know you're organizing this event. Can I come and volunteer and just help you with organizing it? I don't mind going to go and buy the drinks. I will serve the people. Let me just understand what it means to organize an event. And at the end of the event, what do you write? You get your CV. I was part of the supersonic, call it any beautiful
whatever it is.
I was part of the event management team that organized the international seminar on so and so. Yeah. You've put an extra content on your CV. The trouble is, it is better to have a 2-page CV that has been condensed from a 10-page content than to have a 2-page CV that you have expanded from a half-page content.
Yes, which is what most of them do.
They increase the font size and triple line spacing.
Yes.
I've seen a CV where a student has written his name, his personal details, his mom's name. I was like, what's my business with your mom?
This is a passport. This is a passport.
Just to increase.
You can fly with this, actually.
The number of pages. There is so much content you can do by activities while you're on campus for 3 or 4 years. Come on now.
And it's all in this book, The Graduate Code. And now the author is our guest today. Why is Africa poor? Why is Africa poor? You have traveled the world and you see everybody flocking to Africa. And it's funny, you see everybody running away from Africa.
So let me see if I can answer the question very basically, so you get the point here.
Yeah, let's stick to the basics for now. So I don't want us to get into the code again.
So let me tell you. So a way to look at it is this. So Africa has had handouts for a really long time. There is something handouts does to your psyche. It keeps you suppressed.
Does it?
Oh yes, it does. It keeps you at a point where you are always in dependence on somebody else. So there's a historical background to Africans' poverty. And to make it even worse, there is also something around the fact that either from a governmental level, policy level, from an individual level, except for some individuals who have come to discover that, wait a minute, I can break out of the norm and make a path for myself.
Yes.
There's almost an atmosphere of dependence on something or one international body or one international partner. Now, so maybe to tell you how rich Africa is supposed to be. Now, people normally would say, yes, Africa has many natural resources. I hear that all the time. But actually, I've gone simpler than that. Maybe I paint you a picture. So when I sit down in meetings, like research proposal meetings in the UK, and you have like maybe 3 or 4 professors in the room, and they're trying to maybe develop a proposal where they want to solve a particular problem. This is how the conversation goes. A prof would say, let's do a proposal to solve this problem. Then somebody in the room would say, no, somebody solved the problem last year. Then another prof would say, okay, maybe we'll revise the proposal to solve this problem. Then somebody would say, no, there's a PhD student currently working on the solution now. So basically, friend, they spend hours and hours looking for a problem to solve. Africa is blessed with problems.
Yes.
It is in the providing of solutions to problems that you create value. And it's in the creation of value you make money. Africa is so bombarded with problems that they suppressed them. But they haven't actually seen that those problems are opportunities for growth and expansion. I mean, look at simple things like a room or anywhere and said, count how many mobile applications you have on your phone. They count, some will have 30, 40, I've got 65 or something like that.
Yes.
Then I said, okay, well, now look at the phone again. Now count how many mobile apps has been developed by an African for Africa. The numbers drops dramatically. Yes. So people say 2 phones. In my case, there are only 3 mobile apps, and they are all my banks. All the rest are international apps by international. But those apps, follow me, are providing a solution to me wherever I am in Africa. That's why I have them. So the mentality of problems and solution has been sucked off the life of many Africans, because all they do is complain.
Yes.
Just complain.
But there's nothing wrong in complaining.
Which is good, but the point is, when I complain, I want to end the complaint by saying, maybe there's something I can do about it.
There's nothing wrong in complaining.
That's the difference between me and the average person who just complains. Okay, I've complained, but the person you're complaining to, have you told him something? Have you done a letter? Have you done a proposal? Have you figured out something you can do differently? So for me, I'm a disruptor. Because the norm has to be shifted for things to be different. We've been complaining for this same thing for how many years? For a long time. So you can't keep doing the same thing and expect change. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So for me, I think it's a question of, and I'm sorry, I don't like going to that high level. Because for me, I want to be able to make an impact with that young man down the road, that vice chancellor who is in control of his university.
Yes.
You follow me? That's chief executive who is employing 10 people. They can make changes, many changes in those set of individuals. Then maybe potentially as time progresses, it can actually kind of grow organically towards bigger changes.
What will turn the tide? Is it, and I know this, it always devolves into a blame game between us, the people, and them, the leaders, and you know, who should do something. And what I like about what you're saying is that, well, the leadership has got a role to play in this.
That's
and
true.
the people in power. But even you, as an individual,
you have a massive role to play.
When everybody else is not going to change, you still have a life to live. And you need to say, okay, let me do this. Now, how do you do that?
So I'll give an example. So it's like me, it's an example.
Yeah.
I mean, all the issues are still there. And before people say, well, it's because you live in the UK, that's actually a lie. I can as well just get a lovely job in the UK and just work 9 to 5 and have with my family. That's it.
Okay, why do doing that?
Why do I work in Africa though? I mean, over 95% of my work is on the continent.
Yes.
Which I can assure you is not easy. It's a very hectic job.
Yes.
But that is because I kind of have seen the things the white folks have also seen.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I've seen Africa as a place where you can make a lot more impact. And because on my own little space, in the small things I'm trying to do, many people are getting impacted. Imagine there are 100 more of me. Think about the potential impact or the reverberation.
The ripple effect.
The chain effect, the chain reaction. But that's because individuals are kind of disjointed from each other, and people are just complaining. But the point is, can you as an individual make a difference in your own little corner? And there are ways of doing that. It's actually what I train on. There are ways of doing that. Can you, for example, decide, okay, well, I am no longer a local champion. I can be truly international, because yes, you can. We live in a world where there is so much global connectivity. How can you be in isolation when there is connectivity? It doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
So simple things like that can actually make a big difference.
Let me pull you to an issue that might be a little bit controversial.
Okay.
And it's the issue of Christianity.
Yeah.
And why Christians have to be so poor.
My goodness.
The controversy now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people will be like, hey, what are you talking about? Who said Christians are poor? Christians are the most poor people around. There was a survey that was done.
Okay.
And people discovered that actually the poorest countries turned out somehow
The most
to be the
religious.
most religious ones.
Yeah.
And people were like, is there a direct correlation? And I saw a whole debate about that, and this is just circumstantial.
Yeah.
But actually it may not be. You see, the most successful countries in the world are not actually the most religious ones.
That's
But
correct.
things shouldn't be like that.
That's
Because there's
correct.
a lot of prosperity in the Bible.
So-
and I take it you know the word quite well.
So I do. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. This is actually a very interesting question you raised.
Yes.
So I guess the first thing I want to say is this. I think people actually forget that God is God and spiritual. But he was God enough to become man.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, God was amazing. He made the angels.
Yes.
But he was still God enough to create Adam, a man.
Yes.
So my point is that people don't understand that the deity of God is actually expressed in humanity.
How is that?
So my point is this. So it's when you over spiritualize God, everything has to be spiritual. So that even when a physical solution stares you in the face, and God has given you an answer to your problem, you still spend hours and hours in the chamber praying for answers.
Praying isn't wrong.
That's not wrong.
Push.
But you
Pray until something happens.
Absolutely. So
Isn't that the idea?
so when it says faith without works is dead, what does it mean?
Yeah.
It means you can have faith, but the point is that you have to work. You say if you don't work, then you are a problem to yourself and folks around you. So my point is, I think religion, what it has done for many Africans, is make them really lazy. Lazy of business principles. Lazy to learn strategies that can convert you from being a poor person to being wealthy, or at least able to provide for your family. It's a big disconnect.
Yes.
So the way I always like to paint an example is this. Follow me.
Yeah.
So in Matthew 7,
Yes.
okay, from verse 1 to 6,
Yes.
this is very interesting.
Yes.
Jesus Christ was speaking, and he was talking about don't judge your brother, so you are not judged. Because if you go to your brother and you tell him your brother's got a mole in his eye, meanwhile you have a pillar in your own eye.
Exactly.
So from verse 1 to 6 was about talking about you and your brother. Now, in verse 7, so Christ is still having the conversation, this chat. Then he says, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. Now, I don't understand at what point did his gist about your brother jump from being physical. That's verse 7 now only is related to spiritual things. So people now interpret verse 7 to only mean ask God and it shall be given. Seek God and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. No! He was talking about even your brother, people around you. If you ask somebody something, it will be given. So for me, it's nice to ask God. But if God has provided a neighbor of mine, or a friend, or a partner, to give me what I want, why do I have to keep asking him when there's somebody around the corner? My point is that idea of over-spiritualizing everything about Christianity.
Now I get.
That's my point.
God is like, no, don't always ask
God
me.
works with men. God is heavenly and amazing, but God's pattern is to work with men. It's always been the case. God loves man so much. a prophet was sent.
Yes.
Isaiah, Jeremiah. It's always been his way of working.
Yeah.
So, but it means therefore that the average person should be able in your work understand what are the good dimensions, new models to make your work sustainable. But when you understand models, God can give you favor. But God gives you favor. So when you meet the right people, you should still be able to strike a deal. God won't come and whisper to you, then say this, say that. You need to learn and be prepared as a professional, irrespective, to be able to make things happen.
The issue of people not seeing the opportunities that are there, I think is a big issue. And I don't know what you take, because I know you travel the world trying to kind of remove the cataract from people's eyes.
Disruptions, that's correct.
You know, and people always talk about potential. Oh, you've got the potential. But I mean, sometimes it gets a bit annoying and frustrating. You're like, I don't want potential.
I want action.
I want action. I want to start living the life that you think I can live.
Yes.
How do you advise somebody to get out of it and say, this is now, I'm living the life that I was meant to live?
So in my job, I've discovered something.
Yes.
So when someone tells you, oh, you need self-motivation, you need to be motivate yourself, you know what I've discovered?
Yeah.
There is one trick to self-motivation that when it happens, you don't usually need someone to motivate you anymore. I'll tell you what it is. I'm not kidding you. It's when you see the result of an action and it's lovely.
And then you do more of it.
You don't, if your mom will not call you, go and do it.
You wake up first thing in the morning.
So success
is addictive.
Is the best self-motivator I've ever met. He's a really cool dude.
Just become successful. Just once. Test it.
That's my point. You only need to just try it out. The difference is, the trouble is, when someone says you've got potentials, you've got potentials, as long as it remains potential, you will never see it. Because by reason of the word potential, that means it hasn't been expressed.
You see, there are some things when you test them once, even food.
I'm telling you, and it
the way
enters
your
your brain. Your brain.
You want more.
You will looking for that food.
It's like nicotine. That's why it's addictive.
It's very, very easy. But the point is, that's the reason why people have not driven themselves to the next level.
Okay.
Because they don't have an experience of what it means to do something you love and actually see an impact or someone like it. I'll give an example.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't want to even go too big.
Yes.
Let's even go like basics.
Yes.
Everybody, in one form or the other, you have a gifting. So I'm not even talking about what you study in university or what you're good at.
No.
Or I'm talking about what comes naturally to you.
Yes.
Good. Now, you know, that thing currently, if you look at most CVs, you normally capture it under hobbies and interests in your CV.
Yeah.
But have you discovered that the job you hate, your boss you don't like, all of that job you do now, you keep it at the top of the CV. But what comes naturally to you, what you do to relax, you enjoy, you put it at a little corner down the CV. So I have a theory called flipping your CV. And I capture it in the book. The CV flip. And what does it mean?
Flip your CV.
What it means is, that thing you currently do as a hobby, if you notice, you usually do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Try something else. Do it for somebody else. So, for example, if you're a painter, you love painting.
Yeah.
You probably have a collection of many, many paintings.
Paint for someone
Sitting
else.
down. Next time, ask for somebody. Do you want a painting? Then paint for the person. Now, when someone sees what you've done and appreciates you with a big smile, that is when the understanding of the effect of success being to slap you in the face.
And you're like,
so it's no longer
right here.
It's no longer a potential. Now you've expressed it and somebody has appreciated it. Then what are you likely to do? Now you're looking for people to paint for.
Yes.
It gets to the point where you've done it enough times and you go, brother, I'm sorry, ink is expensive.
Yeah.
My next painting, you have to pay,
you have to pay for the
it.
ink. Yeah.
The sequence.
Yes.
The trouble is the difference between that potential or idea and the next level is quite large. And it only requires by you just writing. So as simple as writing it down, people struggle.
Yes.
An idea remains in your head forevermore. You keep talking about idea. And I ask friends, said, so have you written it down? They say no. That is the beginning of failure. Because when you write down an idea, what you've done is you've moved it from the spiritual to the physical.
Is it? I mean, that sounds too basic.
It's basic, but that's the point. I'm not kidding you.
No, I mean, it's just writing down.
Beautiful. But how many people do you know have ideas that I've written down?
Not many, as it turns out.
There you go. But the average person who spends time writing an idea down, the tendency is you will now start fine-tuning the idea. Follow me? Okay, making it better into a proposal, into some other dimensions. Now, because it's now growing in actuality. Now, this is the beauty. You have the idea, you written it down. Now, you now understand what you need to make the idea open or make it work. So what do? You keep now start looking for it, developing the concept. This is the reason why. The difference between your poverty status and your success is your opportunity and preparation for opportunity.
Sorry, can you come again on that one?
The difference between...
I don't want to miss a thing.
Explain.
I don't know if you can miss this, but I don't want to miss it.
The difference between your poverty and your wealth is actually your preparation for an opportunity.
Aha. How prepared are you?
So do you know how many people you meet every time in your life who are the potential people that will change your life, but you are never prepared or even sensitive to them being around you? That's the difference. Especially because God always uses men. he always does. It's true. That one is non-negotiable. He always uses men.
Yes.
So, but you've had an idea in your head, and then imagine you meet somebody and the person goes, oh, well, that's a very good idea. So how developed is the idea? And you say, it's just an idea in my head.
No.
You think anybody will take you serious?
No, they will not.
But if somebody meets me and says, that idea, what have you done about it? Oh, I've got a proposal. My partners are ready. I've done this already. I've done it voluntarily. People like it. There's a difference between, because now you are prepared and good to go.
Yeah.
So as long as it remains a potential, brother, it will remain a potential.
Am I going to find that if I read this book?
I tell you, it's there. Everything is on codes, man. It's about codes.
The graduate code is all about codes. Dr. Akanimo Odon, do you ever find time to yourself? You are always traveling.
Oh, yeah.
You said from here you're going somewhere else.
Yeah. So I'm off to Botswana for 5 days.
Yes.
From Botswana, I'm off to Joburg, South Africa for 2 days. I'm doing different big sessions.
Yes.
And then from South Africa, I go back to the UK, go chill with the family.
Yeah.
And then I'm flying to Nigeria for 3 days. From Nigeria, I go to Nairobi, Kenya for 4 days. That's how I wrap up the first quarter of the year.
Wow.
So I do have time to rest. I chill. I like to listen to music.
Yes.
I love to write.
Yeah.
And for me, writing is like writing poems or stories.
Yeah.
It comes easy to me.
Yes.
I love watching movies.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In fact, when you talk about movies, I'm thinking you must have watched the Black Panther.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And as somebody told you that you actually look like the main actor in that one.
Serious? Well, a few times.
I thought so too. When I was looking, I'm like, I think I've seen this guy somewhere.
Before.
No, actually it's Chadwick Boseman. It's not him.
It's not me.
You actually quite look like him.
People have told me a few times.
They have.
Oh yeah, that is it's nice. It's nice to know that.
Have you featured in a movie before?
No, I've not actually. But I produced a movie though.
You have produced a movie.
I have produced a movie.
Yeah.
So I produced a movie called Dry.
Yes.
It's a movie about child brides.
Okay.
In Africa. It's a very beautiful film by this amazing lady called Stephanie Linus.
Okay.
And she's one of the top Nigerian actresses. So she wrote, directed, and produced the movie.
Ah, great.
So, but we shot, I think, 60% in Nigeria and 40% in the UK.
Ah, all
so
right.
I was responsible for all the UK production of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an incredible story. It actually won the best movie in Africa at the AMCV in 2016. Yeah, it was
Dry.
Dry, D-R-Y.
Dry,
It's
D-R-Y.
about child brides and the medical condition called VVF,
Okay.
vesical vaginal fistula.
Oh, yes.
Incredible story.
Yes.
Amazing story. Yeah.
It should be interesting to watch
Yeah,
that one.
it's currently on Netflix actually. Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Okay, good.
I think you can also download it on a few platforms. It's
All
a
right.
really good story.
I should love to watch that one. I think it should be very, very interesting. And you said you are married and with
I'm married with two kids. Yeah. So my daughter is Kayla, she's 11.
Okay.
My son Kenan, he's 8. Well, he's 8 next month.
And I think that's about it. Now we're not
Oh,
getting another.
we're done now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You have to travel the world now. You have to travel the world.
Oh, no, but interesting. Even my daughter, it's all about what I was talking about. Even my daughter is catching up with the whole things about the code.
Yes.
Because I can't be a father, and I tell people this. The average person, you got this natural inclination, what comes naturally to you. The trouble is, most of the time, you go on doing a particular job that you have to struggle with. And it's okay to have studied a course enough to know about it to do it. But it's even better to learn something because you are already good at it.
Yes.
It's my point. So you increase your knowledge in the space because it already comes naturally to you. So maybe I'll give an example. My daughter, she's at the age of 10, or rather at the age of 2 or 3, a music came on the radio,
yes.
and she started dancing to it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really the dance, it was the rhythm. So if I increase the tempo of the music, she would increase the dance steps, and if you reduce it the same way. So I spotted she had the rhythm in her bones.
Yeah.
You know, there are people, no matter how you slow down the music,
No. It's
not going to happen.
You're like, no, I mean, are you even listening to this
the
song?
music, it's not going to happen. So as she grew up, at the age of 4, she picked up a pen and she loved to play with words.
Okay.
By 5, she drew one thing or the other. You could tell she was in the art space.
Yes.
She designed the cover of my book.
Did she?
I'm not kidding you, at the age of 10.
Wow.
Now, why am I saying all of this? Wouldn't I be an evil father to force her to go and study medicine?
She has to do that.
You already know that by her design,
She's happy in that space.
she's in the art space. You can tell. That's the problem with many parents, many teachers, many people, who they know what they love doing that comes naturally to them, which is the reason why people will spend 20 years of their life as a banker. They're earning so much money, but they're never happy until they retire from work and set up some small shoe designer shop.
Yeah.
Then he's truly happy. Imagine if he spent 20 years learning about shoe, the design, and going the criteria.
Yeah.
You see my point? So for me, it's about that balance. Yeah.
I've got a set of questions which I would like to ask you, to which you can only answer yes or no.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
The first one, you have to tell me your full name.
Okay.
What is your full name?
Akanimo Odon.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, I don't.
Do you have any piercings?
No, I don't.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever shot a gun?
No, I'm not.
Have you cried over someone?
Yes, I have.
Have you fallen in love before?
Yes, I have.
Have you killed a chicken before?
No, I haven't.
Have you killed a goat before?
No.
Have you gotten into a fight before?
Yes.
Have you gotten any surgeries?
Yes.
Have you ever been hospitalized?
Yes.
Have you donated blood?
Yes.
Have you ever smoked weed?
No. That wasn't blood. No, I have not. That's a lie.
You've never donated blood?
No, I've not.
Do you know your blood group?
A.
I was going to ask you if you have ever smoked weed.
No.
Would you smoke weed?
No.
Have you ever drank alcohol?
Yes.
Do you drink alcohol?
Yes, socially.
Have you broken someone's heart?
No.
Have you had a crush on someone?
Yes.
I guess we end it there. Dr. Odon, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very, very
and
much.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.